Welcome back to Wrestling Impact, where every moment matters, every rivalry has consequences, and every single night inside that squared circle, history can be made. Now, before we dive in, I need you to do something for me. I need you to think back to the last time you witnessed something so unexpected, so perfectly timed, that you literally had to rewind it just to make sure your eyes weren't playing tricks on you. Got that feeling in your chest? Good. Hold on to it. Because what happened on Raw this past Monday night was exactly that kind of moment, and if you blinked, if you looked down at your phone for even half a second, you missed one of the most talked about finishes we have seen in a very long time. Djavon Evans, Kofi Kingston, and the man nobody expected to show up, Offset. Strap in, because this story is bigger than you think. Let us set the scene for you. Monday Night Raw. The arena is electric. You know that feeling when you walk into a building and you can just sense that something big is going to happen? That was the vibe all night long. Fans had their signs up, their voices were ready, and the card was loaded. But somewhere in the back of everyone's mind, there was this quiet anticipation building around one particular matchup: Djavon Evans versus Kofi Kingston. Now, if you are not fully up to speed on Djavon Evans, let me paint you a picture. This young man came into WWE with something to prove. Not just athleticism, not just charisma, though he has both in abundance. What Djavon Evans came in with was a chip on his shoulder the size of a championship title belt. He had been overlooked, doubted, dismissed by people who should have known better. And every single time he stepped between those ropes, you could feel that hunger radiating off him like heat off asphalt in July. He was not just competing, he was making a statement. On the other side of that statement stood none other than Kofi Kingston. A man who needs no introduction but deserves every ounce of respect your voice can carry. Kofi Kingston is a former WWE champion, a founding member of one of the most beloved factions in WWE history, The New Day, and a performer who has literally defined what it means to create magic inside a wrestling ring for well over a decade. When Kofi steps through that curtain, when that music hits and those dreadlocks fly and that smile breaks across his face, the entire arena collectively loses its mind. He is a man the fans adore, a man the locker room respects, and on this particular night, he was standing directly in the path of a young lion who was hungry, dangerous, and absolutely desperate to make his mark. The match itself started the way all great matches start, with both men feeling each other out. Kofi doing what Kofi does, using his speed, his unpredictability, his ring generalship built from years of competing at the highest level. Evans, athletic and explosive, matching Kofi step for step, move for move, not backing down an inch. The crowd was split early on, which told you everything you needed to know. This was not a squash. This was not a foregone conclusion. This was a genuine competitive wrestling match between two men who both deserved to be exactly where they were. Evans landed a shoulder tackle mid-ring that sent Kofi stumbling into the ropes, and you could hear the collective gasp from the audience. Was this kid really going to keep up with one of the most seasoned veterans in the business? The answer, in those early minutes, was an emphatic yes. Evans rolled through a sunset flip attempt from Kofi, popped to his feet, and hit a picture-perfect dropkick that sent Kingston sliding across the canvas. The crowd reacted with equal parts shock and appreciation. You had fans in that building nodding their heads like, okay, I see you. Kofi regrouped on the outside, slapping the ring apron in frustration, the trademark competitive fire burning in his eyes. He slid back in with a purpose, and that is when the match shifted. Kofi Kingston, when he decides to turn it up, is one of the most creative offensive wrestlers you will ever lay eyes on. He started stringing together combinations that looked more like jazz improvisation than scripted wrestling maneuvers. A leaping elbow off the second rope transitioned into a spinning heel kick that caught Evans clean on the jaw. Evans went down hard. Kofi covers. 1, 2, kick out. And just like that, the intensity ratcheted up another 10 notches. What followed was a back-and-forth exchange that had the live audience completely on their feet. Evans fired back with a running forearm that cracked against Kofi's chest like a thunderclap. He followed it up with a standing moonsault, which, let me tell you, for a man his size, is just not fair. The athletic ability this young man possesses is genuinely jaw-dropping. Evans looked out at the crowd, absorbing their energy, feeding off it, and you could see the confidence growing in real time. This was a man starting to believe not just that he could compete, but that he could win. Kofi, veteran that he is, knew he needed to create some separation. He ducked under a clothesline attempt, rebounded off the ropes, and delivered a boom drop that shook the ring. The crowd erupted. Kofi pumping his fists, feeding off their love, that legendary smile briefly crossing his face before he locked back into game mode. He backed into the corner, clapping his hands together, setting up for what every single person in that building, and every person watching at home, knew was coming: trouble in paradise. The move that has ended countless careers, captured championships, and electrified audiences all over the world. Evans, though, had done his homework. He saw Kofi positioning himself. He saw the wind-up. And at the last possible millisecond, Evans dropped to his knees, letting the spinning heel kick sail over his head by mere inches. The crowd absolutely exploded. Kofi stumbled forward from the momentum of the missed kick, and Evans was right there, grabbing Kofi from behind, rolling him into a schoolboy pin. 1, 2. Kofi kicks out with authority. Both men scramble to their feet. Now here is where things get interesting. Here is where the night stopped being just a great wrestling match and started becoming something nobody in that building was prepared for. As both men regrouped in the center of the ring, as the referee was checking on both competitors, as the crowd was buzzing with that particular electricity that only comes when a match is hanging on a razor's edge, the arena lights did something strange. They flickered. Just for a second. Just long enough for the cameras to catch the confusion on the faces of the fans in the front row. And then the music hit. Now I am not going to pretend that everybody in that arena knew immediately who was walking through that curtain. But in the age of social media, in the era of celebrity crossover moments in professional wrestling, there is a certain kind of energy that accompanies a surprise appearance. And whatever personal feelings you might have about it, whatever side of the debate you fall on regarding celebrities in wrestling, what happened next cannot be denied. Offset. Standing on the entrance ramp. Looking absolutely electric in a custom outfit that cost more than most people's cars. The crowd's reaction was a cocktail of confusion, excitement, and pure pandemonium. The distraction was immediate and it was total. Kofi Kingston, a veteran who has seen almost everything this business can throw at him, could not help but look up the ramp. Just for a second. Just long enough. And Djavon Evans, young, hungry, sharp as a tack, did not waste a single fraction of that moment. He seized it with both hands. Evans grabbed Kofi from behind, executed a beautiful roll-up, hooking both legs, and the referee slid into position. 1, 2, 3. The bell rang. And for a moment, there was absolute silence in that arena. The kind of silence that only happens when something so unexpected occurs that the crowd needs a half second for their brains to catch up to what their eyes just told them. And then the noise came. A wall of sound that hit like a wave. Djavon Evans rolled out of the ring immediately, arms raised, eyes wide, looking like a man who could not quite believe what he had just accomplished. Kofi Kingston sat in the middle of that ring, hands on his knees, staring at the canvas, replaying in his mind the exact moment where everything went sideways. Offset descended from the ramp, making his way around the ringside area, acknowledging the cameras, acknowledging the crowd, existing in that particular space that only mega celebrities can occupy when they walk into a wrestling arena and the whole world is suddenly paying attention. Whether this was planned, whether this was coordinated, whether Evans and Offset had any prior relationship, that was the question on everybody's lips the moment the show went off the air. But here is the thing, and this is the part that matters most when you strip away all the celebrity spectacle and you get down to what this means for professional wrestling. Djavon Evans got a win. A real win. A televised win over a former WWE champion on Monday Night Raw. However it happened, whatever the circumstances were, that result goes into the record books. It gets attached to his name. It adds a layer to his story. And in professional wrestling, storyline and narrative are everything. The how and the why become chapter 2 of a story that chapter 1 just introduced in spectacular fashion. Because now, Kofi Kingston has motivation. Now, Kofi Kingston has a grievance. And if you know anything about Kofi Kingston, if you have followed his career even casually, you know that a motivated Kofi Kingston is one of the most compelling things this industry has to offer. He is going to want answers. He is going to want another match. He is going to want to look Djavon Evans in the eye and settle this the right way, one-on-one, with no distractions, no interference, no celebrity cameos. And that rematch, whenever it comes, is going to be absolutely unmissable. Meanwhile, the questions about Offset keep piling up with every passing hour. Was this a one-time appearance? Is there some kind of ongoing relationship between the music world's biggest names and the world of professional wrestling? And more importantly, is Djavon Evans the kind of performer who is going to use every resource available to him to climb to the top of this industry? Because if that is the case, if Evans is playing a long game here, then what we witnessed on Raw this Monday night was not just a roll-up victory. It was the opening move in a much larger chess match. Think about what it means for Evans going forward. Every performer on that roster is now going to look at him differently. Veterans who might have dismissed him as a kid still finding his footing now have to consider him a credible threat. Because credibility in wrestling is not just built through championships and title matches. It is built through moments. It is built through results. It is built through the kinds of nights where you did the unexpected, where you showed that you are not just a participant, you are a player. And Djavon Evans just cashed in one of the biggest moments of his young career on the biggest stage available to him. The internet, predictably, went absolutely nuclear following Raw. Social media was flooded with reactions from fans, analysts, and just regular wrestling enthusiasts who could not stop talking about what they had just seen. Reactions ranged from total euphoria from Evans supporters who have been waiting for their guy to have a breakthrough moment, to frustration from Kofi loyalists who felt their man deserved better, to genuine curiosity from a broader audience who got pulled into the drama and now, whether they admit it or not, are going to tune in next week to see where this goes. And that, at its core, is what great wrestling television is supposed to do. It is supposed to make you need to see what happens next. The legacy of this moment is still being written. The aftermath is still unfolding. Djavon Evans woke up the morning after Raw with a different kind of name recognition than he had the day before. Kofi Kingston went to sleep with something burning in his chest that is only going to fuel what comes next. And the entire WWE universe is watching, debating, and most importantly, engaged. That is the beauty of professional wrestling at its best. It takes you through every emotion in the span of a single evening. It gives you moments of athletic brilliance, moments of dramatic storytelling, moments of pure shock and awe, and moments that remind you why you fell in love with this industry in the first place. Monday Night Raw delivered all of that and then some this past week. And if you think this story is over, if you think what happened in that ring was the end of anything, then with the greatest respect, you have not been paying attention. This is just the beginning. The road to whatever comes next for Djavon Evans, for Kofi Kingston, for whatever role Offset plays in this increasingly compelling storyline, starts right now. And here at Wrestling Impact, we are going to be with you every single step of the way, breaking down every match, every moment, every twist, and every turn that this industry throws at us. Because that is what we do, and that is what you deserve. If you made it this far, if this video gave you that feeling, that rush, that electric buzz of being a wrestling fan who just witnessed something worth talking about, then do me one favor. Hit that like button right now. Not for me, not for the channel, but because you know as well as I do that content like this, passion like this, storytelling like this, deserves to be seen by as many wrestling fans as possible. Drop your reaction to the Evans and Kofi finish in the comments below. I want to know where you stand. Were you here for it? Were you frustrated? Do you think Kofi gets his rematch, and what does it look like? Let us build this conversation together. And if you are not already subscribed to Wrestling Impact, now is the time. Hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you never miss a single moment of coverage, analysis, and storytelling from the greatest sport entertainment product on the planet. We will see you in the next one.